Hello everyone, Jessica here and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I'm going to be playing with the new alcohol lift ink. On the left side of the screen, you will see the alcohol ink blend on Yupa paper that I had created in my last video. If you missed out on that, make sure that you are subscribed if you like, that way you don't miss a video from me. If you want to get notifications of each video I upload, just hit that bell icon. I also link to all the products I use in the description below, and there's also product links on my blog with even more information about the cards I make. I'm a good sharer on Instagram, where I like to post Instagram stories and more pictures of my creations. So check out my social media accounts if you like. They are in the About Me page on my YouTube channel. One of the first things I noticed about the alcohol lift ink is that it smells faintly of rubbing alcohol. But mainly it is a very slick ink, kind of an oily consistency. And since I'm hand stamping with an acrylic block and not using a stamp platform, I really try to have a steady hand. There are some great details in this leaf stamp, which is from the Concord 9th Thankful Leaves Turnabout stamp set, and I want to make sure those are shown in my leaf background that I'm creating. What I'm doing is cleaning my stamp off with some stamp cleaner and a microfiber cloth, then pressing that into the alcohol lift ink, then using that to lift the alcohol ink from the Yupa paper and transferring that ink to the Neenah cardstock. This is just a great way to get more use out of your alcohol inks. Since I'm only using the alcohol ink blend as a palette, I can wiggle that stamp coated with the lift ink a little and really get that alcohol ink moving so that it transfers very well. And because I'm doing this, I'm not showing how you can create the beautiful alcohol lift ink backgrounds with the faded stamp images. I will leave that technique for another video. Once I filled up my Neenah card panel with these alcohol lift ink leaves, I'm going to create more interest and color on this background. Using two of the small splatter stamps from the Thankful Leaves Turnabout and the Grateful for You stamp sets, I'm stamping one of them with the Distress Oxide ink in Peacock Feathers, and the other I'm using MFT Extreme Black Ink. I think that MFT is a good ink for when you want to do some hand stamping in just plain old black ink. I have had good luck getting nice impressions from this one. So right now it tends to be my go-to for when I'm using an acrylic block to hand stamp. Next, I want to cut down the leaf background. I'm going to use the large Thankful Leaves die again, so I make the background just under 3 inches wide. I'm using my small tonic guillotine cutter for this. Then using the large maple leaf die, I'm going to hang that off the edge. I secure it down with a piece of washi tape so that I can run that through my Big Shot to die cut it without the die moving around. I only have the one leaf background, so I don't want it to shift unexpectedly. Have you seen the newer Peacock color of Simon's stamp cardstock? It is really pretty and coordinates very well with the Distress Original or Oxide Peacock feathers. Since they have similar names, you would expect that to happen, but sometimes that is not always the case. I wonder how many of the Simon's stamp papers match the Distress ink line. That might be a fun thing to list one day, just for curiosity's sake. So I'm using the Bitty Thank You die from an older Concord 9th release and cutting that out of the Simon Peacock cardstock. And I like to use my tweezers to help poke out all those little tiny bits. Off screen, I also cut the Thankful Leaves die out of a piece of corrugated cardboard. This is something that was given to me a while back, and it is supposed to be card bases. As you can see, it's like a 5.5 by 5.5 corrugated cardboard card base. I love the texture of it, so I just die cut the leaf using that. And by die cutting it, it does squish that texture down a bit, but I still really like the way it looks. Now I can adhere the leaf background onto the left side of the Neenah 110-pound card base. I'm just using my ATG for that. Then using multi-medium matte glue, I adhere the corrugated cutout of the leaf inside of the alcohol leafed ink background. Using the multi-medium matte glue, again, I adhere the thank word die cut to the corrugated leaf, which I find is too low for the U die cut word to fit underneath, so I gently lift that up and move it higher, and I attach the U die cut below. The Concord 9th Grateful for You stamp set does have some great options for sentiments, and since I love the contrast of Simon's black cardstock with white embossing powder, I'm going to do that. Using my embossing buddy to lay down some anti-static powder, that way the white embossing powder doesn't stick everywhere on the black cardstock, I stamp the sentiment in Versamark and then heat emboss with an already very hot Wagner tool. The embossing powder melts so quickly when you let that tool heat up a bit beforehand. Since I used the embossing buddy to prep the cardstock before I embossed on it, it does leave a powder residue. To get rid of that, I just rub the cardstock with my fingers and that gets rid of the white cast. Now I'm going to trim down that sentiment using my tonic cutter again. As you can see, I did stamp that a little crooked, even with the help of my stamp platform. Go figure. But what I want is a thin rectangle sentiment to adhere with multi-medium matte glue to the bottom of the U die cut. And I overlap the secondary sentiment over the swoop of the Y. For the inside of this card, I used the leftover piece of the Thankful Leaves die that I cut out of the alcohol lift ink leaf background. I love that pattern so much that I wanted to use it as much as possible. Then I also cut the Grateful die using Simon's Black Cardstock, which is the coordinating die for the Grateful for Everything stamp. And that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. You can connect with me on Instagram or email me directly or comment below with any questions you might have about card making. All the products I used today are linked on my blog. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to see the latest videos from me. I appreciate you and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Meh, meh.